Hello students. In the earlier part of this lesson, we have studied how to balance the chemical equations. In a chemical reaction, reactants are converted into products. During this process, the bonds between the reacting molecules break and new bonds are formed. Uh, Depending upon the rearrangement of atoms in the chemical reaction, there are four types of reactions. Uh, these are chemical combination, chemical decomposition, displacement reaction, and double displacement reactions. So we will study one by one. The first type, chemical combination reaction. A reaction in which two or more reactants combine to form a single product is called combination reaction. Let us see some examples. As you can see in this figure, a beaker first on the left side contain ammonia gas and another beaker on the right side contain hydrochloric acid. Ammonia gas from the beaker comes out, and when it reacts with the hydrogen chloride vapor from the another beaker, let us see what happens. In this activity, we see when ammonia gas reacts with the hydrogen chloride gas, then it forms white dense fumes of ammonium chloride. The chemical equation of this reaction is NH3 plus HCl gives NH4Cl. So in this reaction, there are two reactants and a single product. So this is an example of chemical combination reaction. Let us study another example. In this activity, a piece of magnesium is strongly heated. Let us see what happens. This is piece of magnesium metal. Using pair of terms, it is held in the flame. See what happens. So it's burning with a very bright flame and white ash of magnesium oxide is formed. So you can write chemical equation of this reaction. Let us consider another example of a combination reaction. The reaction between calcium oxide and water. In a paper cup, calcium oxide pieces are taken and to this water is added. Initially the reaction is a slow reaction, but after some time let us see what happens. The speed of reaction is slowly increasing. Now the water is boiling, you can see there. Now in this reaction, calcium oxide CaO reacts with water H2O and gives a product called calcium hydroxide CaOH twice. So in this reaction, large quantity of heat is given out. So this is also an example of exothermic reaction. In the next part of the lesson, we are going to study what is exothermic reaction. But here we have considered this as an example of a combination reaction. The next type of reaction is a decomposition reaction. A chemical reaction in which a substance splits or breaks into two or more products is called as a decomposition reaction. So let us take some examples. The common example is a decomposition of sugar. The sugar which we use daily, its formula is C6H12O6 and its chemical name is sucrose. So let us see what happens when sugar is heated. In a spoon, small quantity of sugar is taken and it is strongly heated. Observe the changes that occur in this process. Now, initially it is melting. Water vapor is given out. The black colored substance is formed. Heating is continued. This black color substance is nothing but carbon, and the vapor given out is water, and that is a water vapor. In this activity, we see that when sugar is strongly heated, it decomposes to give carbon and water. The chemical equation of this reaction is C12H22O11 on heating gives 12C plus 11H2O. So this is an example of thermal decomposition reaction. Let us take one more example of a thermal decomposition reaction, that is heating calcium carbonate. Experimental arrangement for this reaction is: in a test tube, calcium carbonate solid is taken, then a rubber cork with one hole is fitted to the test tube. A delivery tube is fitted to the rubber cork, and the other end of the delivery tube is dipped in a test tube containing lime water. Lime water is colorless. When calcium carbonate is heated, let us see what happens. We see bubbles are coming in the test tube. And we see that colorless lime water has turned milky. See the milky color of lime water. In this reaction, a reactant calcium carbonate decomposes into two products, namely calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is an example of thermal decomposition reaction. The chemical equation of this reaction is CaCO3 solid on heating gives CaO calcium oxide solid plus CO2 gas. This is an assembly to study electrolytic decomposition of water. Here a container contains acidified water. There are two electrodes at the bottom of the container. The red one is a anode and black one is a cathode. Two test tubes are filled with the acidified water and they are kept on the electrodes as shown in the figure. After this, the terminals of wire are connected to battery and a direct current is passed as you can see, gases are evolved at the cathode and anode. After zooming, you see so these gases are hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is collected at the cathode, negative electrode, which is on the right side. Oxygen is released at the anode. So this shows that when water is electrolyzed, it decomposes into hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. So this is an example of thermal decomposition. Sorry, this is an electrolytic decomposition, or also called electrolysis. In some chemical reactions and processes, heat energy is given out. In some other reactions and processes, heat energy is absorbed. On this basis, we can classify chemical reactions into two types: the endothermic and exothermic reactions and processes. Let us take some examples. In order to melt ice, we have to heat the ice. The ice absorbs heat. So, melting of ice is an endothermic process. When potassium nitrate crystals dissolve in water, the temperature of the solution falls down. So here heat is absorbed. So this is also an example of endothermic process. The formation of ice from water, we have to cool the water. We have to withdraw heat from the water. So this is an example of exothermic process. When potassium hydroxide pellets dissolve in water, heat energy is given out. So dissolution of sodium hydroxide in water is an exothermic process. When concentrated sulfuric acid is added to water, large amount of heat is given out. This is also an example of exothermic process. The correct way of making a dilute solution of a sulfuric acid from water is, we should add concentrated acid to water and not water to acid. This is because the density of concentrated sulfuric acid is more than density of water. When acid is added to water, the acid sinks at the bottom. But if water is added to the concentrated acid, the density of water is less. So it remains on the top part, upper part of the solution. And in this process, large quantity of heat is given out, and this can cause injury to the skin, and therefore we should not add water to concentrated sulfuric acid for diluting. The correct way is adding concentrated acid to water. Now let us take two examples. Take 100 ml of water in a plastic bottle. Add to it 5 grams of potassium nitrate solution and shake well. note down the temperature of the solution. You will find that as the potassium nitrate dissolves in water, the temperature of the solution falls down. So here the heat is absorbed for dissolving potassium nitrate. So as this heat is taken from the water, the temperature falls down, and therefore dissolution of potassium nitrate in water is an endothermic process. Another example, in 100 ml water taken in a plastic bottle, add few pellets of sodium hydroxide. Shake well. You will find the solution becomes warm. In this reaction, when potassium hydroxide dissolves, heat is given out, and therefore this process is an exothermic process. In short, when heat is absorbed in a process, and this process is called endothermic process. If heat is given out in the process, then that is a exothermic process. Now let us study some more examples of endothermic and exothermic reaction. As we have studied in the earlier part, in decomposition reaction, when calcium carbonate is strongly heated, it gives calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So for decomposition of calcium carbonate, we have to supply heat, and therefore this is a endothermic reaction. When calcium oxide, it is a quicklime, when added to water, large amount of heat is given out, and therefore this is an exothermic reaction. One question for you: what is the difference between process of dissolution and chemical reaction? You may remember in the earlier part of this lesson we have studied physical change and chemical change. So dissolution of any salt in the solvent is a physical change, and formation of a new substance, a new product, is a chemical change or chemical reaction. When any solute dissolves in a solvent, it is not a chemical reaction, it is a physical change. Depending upon the time taken for completion of the reaction, the reactions can be classified as a slow reaction or a fast reaction. The rate of chemical reaction can be altered, can be increased. There are some factors which affects the rate of chemical reaction, whether reaction will take place fast or slow, and these are the factors that affect the rate of chemical reaction. There are 5 factors. These are the nature of reactant, the size of particle, the concentration of reactants, temperature, and catalyst. We will study these factors one by one. The rate of chemical reaction depends upon the nature of reactants. For example, aluminium metal and zinc metal both react with dilute sulfuric acid. When aluminium reacts with hydrochloric acid, it forms aluminum chloride and hydrogen gas is released. When zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid, it forms zinc chloride and hydrogen gas is released. In both reactions, hydrogen gas is released. But if we see the speed of the reaction, aluminum reacts faster with hydrochloric acid than zinc. And therefore, the speed of reaction here, it is depending upon the nature of reactant, that is aluminum metal. The next factor affecting the rate of chemical reaction is size of the particle of reactants. Take two test tubes, add 10 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid in each of these test tubes. In first test tube, add some powdered marble and observe the rate of reaction. In another test tube, put some big pieces of marble and observe the rate of reaction. You will find that a test tube in which powdered marble is added, the rate of reaction is very fast. This is because the powdered marble has very small particles, and therefore the total exposed surface area in a powdered marble is more. On the other hand, big pieces of marble, the total surface area of all the particles taken together is less as compared to the powdered marble. And chemical reaction takes place on the surface of these reacting molecules, and therefore greater the surface area, faster is the reaction. Lesser the surface area, slower is the reaction. So if the reactant is in the powdered form, the exposed surface area is more, and therefore the chemical reaction is faster. The next factor that affects rate of chemical reaction is concentration of the reactants. Let us take one example. Take two test tubes. Add powdered calcium carbonate to both of them equal quantity. In first test tube, add dilute hydrochloric acid and observe the rate of the reaction. In another test tube, add concentrated hydrochloric acid. Now compare the rate of reaction. You will find the test tube in which concentrated hydrochloric acid is added, the rate of reaction is faster. Another example, burning of a candle in air and burning of candle in a pure oxygen. If we compare these two burning processes, we will find that a candle burns much brighter in a pure oxygen, because in pure oxygen the concentration of oxygen is almost 5 times more than the concentration of oxygen in the air. The next factor affecting the rate of chemical reaction is temperature. If the reactants are heated, the rate of chemical reactions increase. Many chemical reactions do not occur if not heated, but these reactions start if the reactants are heated. For example, calcium carbonate, if not heated, it does not decompose. but if it is strongly heated, it decomposes to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Another example, when potassium chlorate is not heated, reaction does not take place. But if it is strongly heated, it decomposes to give potassium chloride and oxygen gas is given out. This shows that the rate of chemical reaction depends upon temperature. The last factor that affects the rate of chemical reaction is a catalyst. Catalyst is a substance which does not take part in the chemical reaction, but because of its presence, the rate of chemical reaction is increased. So such a substance is called catalyst. Let us take one example, decomposition of potassium chlorate, KClO3. When this is strongly heated, it decomposes to give potassium chloride and oxygen gases given out, as you can see in this equation number 19. This is a slow reaction, but if we add a pinch of manganese dioxide, MnO2, to potassium chlorate and heat it again, we see that the decomposition occurs much faster as compared to the earlier case. So this shows that the presence of a catalyst increases the rate of chemical reaction.